Thomas Hendricks stands in his home office at 11:47 on a Tuesday night, staring at a number that shouldn't exist. Balance, $0.00. His retirement account, 25 years of deposits, careful planning, compound interest, $1.5 million, gone. His hand trembles as he refreshes the browser. The page loads again, same result. The cursor blinks in the empty white space where his future used to be. Downstairs, he hears Chloe laughing. The sound floats up through the floorboards, light, carefree, completely unaware that he's discovered what she's done. Or maybe she knows. Maybe she's laughing because she thinks she's already won. Thomas closes his laptop slowly. His heart pounds against his ribs. His mouth is dry. He stands there in the darkness of his office, surrounded by framed degrees and achievement plaques and photos of a marriage that apparently never existed. 3 weeks. They leave for their retirement cruise in 3 weeks. 30 days on a luxury liner through the Mediterranean, the trip they'd been planning for 2 years, the celebration of everything they'd built together. Except there's nothing left to celebrate. Because Chloe has already left him. She just hasn't told him yet. 5 years earlier, Thomas Hendricks sits across from his estate attorney in a conference room that smells like leather and old money. Martin Collier is 53, gray-haired, cautious. He's spent 30 years protecting wealthy people from things they don't want to think about. Divorce, lawsuits, family disputes, financial betrayal. "I know this seems excessive," Martin says, sliding a document across the table. "But in my experience, the clients who protect themselves early are the ones who sleep well at night." Thomas scans the paperwork. It's a revocable living trust, a secondary audit trail that shadows their major accounts, not to control anything, just to monitor, to flag unusual activity. "Chloe doesn't need to know," Martin continues. "It's your right as an account holder. Think of it as insurance you hope you'll never need." Thomas hesitates. He thinks about his wife, about 20 years of marriage, about trust. But he also thinks about his colleague who lost everything in a divorce he never saw coming. He signs the document. "Just in case," he says. Martin nods. "Just in case." Thomas leaves the office and goes home to Chloe. They have dinner. They watch television. He doesn't mention the trust. It seems paranoid, unnecessary. He forgets about it completely, until 5 years later, when an automated alert arrives on his phone at 11:32 on a Tuesday night. Trust account alert. Unusual activity detected. Now. Thomas sits in his office chair, staring at the wall. The house is quiet. Outside, the Seattle suburbs are dark and still. Manicured lawns, 2-car garages, the kind of neighborhood where nothing bad happens. His phone is face down on the desk. He can't look at it, can't process what the alert told him. $1,512,000 transferred 4 days ago from their joint retirement account to an offshore account in the Cayman Islands. Recipient, Charles Omalana. Thomas doesn't know anyone named Charles Omalana, but apparently, Chloe does. He sits there for 2 hours, doesn't move, doesn't call anyone, just sits in the darkness, feeling the floor drop out from under his entire life. At 1:15 in the morning, Chloe's footsteps sound on the stairs. "Tommy, you coming to bed?" Her voice is soft, concerned. She sounds like the woman he married 25 years ago. The woman who wore a burgundy blazer in a Chicago coffee shop and smiled at him like he was the only person in the world. Thomas clears his throat. "Yeah, soon. Don't stay up too late." A pause. "Love you. Love you too." Her footsteps retreat. The bedroom door closes softly. Thomas puts his head in his hands. His wedding ring catches the dim light from the computer screen. He stares at it for a long time. 6:30 a.m. Thomas is awake before the alarm. He didn't sleep. Just lay beside Chloe in the darkness, listening to her breathe, wondering how long she's been planning this. She wakes at 7, stretching, smiling at him. "Morning, babe." "Morning." She gets up, moves to the bathroom. Thomas hears the shower start. He reaches for his phone and dials Martin Collier's office line. Voicemail. He tries Martin's cell. 3 rings. Then, "Tom, it's barely 7. I got the alert." Silence. Then Martin's voice sharpens. "When?" "Last night. A transfer. 1.5 million. 4 days ago." "Did you authorize it?" "No." "Does Chloe have signing authority?" "We both do. It's a joint account." Another pause. Thomas hears papers rustling. Martin is already moving, already thinking. "Don't confront her. Not yet. Send me everything, account numbers, transfer details, dates. I'll start pulling records." "Martin, what the hell is happening?" "I don't know yet. But Tom, listen to me. Whatever you do, don't let her know you're on to her. If she realizes we're investigating, she'll move the money again. We'll lose the trail." Thomas closes his eyes. The bathroom door opens. Steam billows out. Chloe emerges in a towel, humming something. "I have to go," Thomas whispers. "Call me from the office. We'll figure this out." Thomas hangs up. Chloe is getting dressed, her back to him. Her phone sits on the nightstand, face up. The screen lights up with a notification. A text message from a contact labeled simply, "C. Miss you already." Thomas stares at the message. Chloe doesn't notice. She pulls on jeans, a sweater, still humming. The screen goes dark. Thomas gets out of bed. His legs feel unsteady. He goes downstairs, makes coffee, tries to act normal. Chloe joins him 10 minutes later. She pours herself a cup, leans against the counter. "Big day today?" she asks. "Just the usual. You?" "Same. Compliance meetings all afternoon." She rolls her eyes. "Thrilling stuff." Thomas nods, sips his coffee. It tastes like metal. "Only 3 weeks until the cruise," Chloe says. Her eyes light up. "I can't wait. You and me, no work, no stress, just adventure." Thomas forces a smile. "Can't wait." She kisses his cheek, grabs her purse, heads for the door. "See you tonight, babe." "Yeah, tonight." The door closes. Her car starts. She drives away. Thomas stands in the kitchen, alone, holding his coffee cup so tightly his knuckles turn white. 10 a.m. Thomas is at his office, a wealth management firm in downtown Seattle. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook Elliott Bay. On a normal day, he'd find the view calming. Today, he can't even look at it. Martin calls. "I've got preliminary information. The offshore account is registered under the name Charles Omalana, 27 years old, address in Seattle. I'm running a deeper background check now." "Who is he?" "I don't know yet. But Tom, I think you need to hire a private investigator. We need to know what we're dealing with." Thomas feels sick. "You think she's—" "I think we need facts before we jump to conclusions. But yes, that's a possibility." Thomas stares at his desk. At the family photo from last Christmas. Chloe's arm around his shoulders, both of them smiling. "I'll find someone," he says. "Good. And Tom, document everything. Don't delete anything. Don't confront her. We play this smart." Thomas agrees, hangs up. He sits at his desk, staring at nothing, while his secretary buzzes him about a client meeting he's supposed to be in. He doesn't go. By noon, Thomas has hired Rachel Nguyen. She's a private investigator, former Seattle PD detective, mid-40s, sharp-eyed, all business. Martin recommended her. They meet at a coffee shop 3 blocks from Thomas's office. Rachel listens while Thomas explains everything. The missing money, the offshore account, the name Charles Omalana. She takes notes, doesn't interrupt. When Thomas finishes, Rachel looks up. "How long has your wife been acting differently?" Thomas thinks about it. 6 months, maybe. Working late more, on her phone constantly, but I thought it was just work stress." "Does she know about the trust? The one that flagged the transfer?" "No, I never told her." Rachel nods. "Good. That's our advantage. Give me 72 hours. I'll find out who Charles Omalana is and what his connection is to your wife. Thomas agrees, pays her retainer in cash. Then he goes back to his office and pretends to work while his entire world crumbles around him. That night, Chloe comes home at 9:15. "Sorry I'm late," she says, dropping her bag by the door. "Meeting ran long." Thomas is on the couch, staring at the television. He doesn't know what's playing. "No problem." She sits beside him, curls into his side. Her hair smells like lavender shampoo. Familiar, comforting. "3 weeks," she murmurs. "We're so close." Thomas keeps his eyes on the screen. Yeah, so close. Day 2. Thomas goes through the motions. Meetings, phone calls, portfolio reviews. His colleagues notice nothing wrong. He's always been good at compartmentalizing. But at lunch, sitting alone in his office, he opens Chloe's Facebook page. He scrolls through her recent posts. Photos from the gym, quotes about self-care and personal growth, pictures of healthy meals, nothing unusual. Then he notices something. A tagged photo from 3 months ago. Chloe at a coffee shop with a group of people. In the background, barely visible, is a young man. Tall, muscular, mid-20s. Thomas clicks on the photo, zooms in. The man is looking at Chloe, smiling. Thomas checks the tag, Charles Omalana. His stomach drops. He clicks on Charles's profile. It's public. Posts about fitness, protein shakes, gym selfies, standard personal trainer content. But as Thomas scrolls, he finds them. Breadcrumbs. A photo from 2 months ago. Charles at a park. In the background on a bench is Chloe. Barely noticeable. But there. Another photo. 1 month ago. A restaurant. Chloe's reflection in the window. She'd been careful, almost invisible, but not careful enough. Thomas closes the laptop. His hands shake. His phone rings. Rachel. "I've got something," she says. "Can you meet?" 4 p.m., same coffee shop. Rachel slides a folder across the table. Inside are photographs. Thomas opens it. The first photo. Chloe and Charles walking hand in hand down a sidewalk near Pike Place Market. Timestamp, 3 weeks ago. Second photo, Chloe and Charles entering a hotel downtown. Timestamp, 2 weeks ago. Third photo, Chloe and Charles sitting at an outdoor cafe, laughing, her hand on his arm. Timestamp, 1 week ago. Thomas stares at the images. He doesn't blink, doesn't breathe. "They've been meeting 3 times a week for 6 months, Rachel says quietly. Always different locations. She's trying to avoid patterns. But she's not as good at this as she thinks. Thomas closes the folder, sets it on the table. What else? Charles Omalana is a personal trainer at a gym in Capitol Hill. No criminal record, no debts, no red flags, but... Rachel pauses. I pulled his financial records. 3 weeks ago, he opened a new account. Business account registered in his name. No activity yet. But the timing is suspicious. Thomas feels numb. She's moving the money through him. That's my theory. But we need proof. Thomas looks out the window. Seattle traffic crawls past, people going about their normal lives, unaware that his is ending. What do I do? Rachel leans forward. You let her think she's winning. You act normal. You don't confront her. And when she makes her move, we'll be ready. Thomas nods slowly. Can you do that? Rachel asks. Thomas looks at her. I don't have a choice. That night, Thomas can't eat dinner. Chloe notices. You feeling okay? Just tired. You've been working too hard. Good thing we're about to retire, huh? She smiles. No more stress. Just us and the open water. Thomas forces himself to smile back. Yeah, just us. Later, when Chloe is asleep, Thomas lies awake staring at the ceiling. His mind replays the photos. Chloe's hand on Charles's arm. Her laugh. The way she looked at him. The way she used to look at Thomas. He thinks about 25 years, about the house they bought together, the trips they took, the life they built. All of it a lie. Or maybe not all of it. Maybe just the end. He doesn't know which is worse. Day 5. Martin calls with an update. We've confirmed the offshore account. It's under Charles's name, but Chloe has full access. I've got screenshots of her login credentials, timestamps, everything. She's been accessing it daily. Can we freeze it? Not yet. If we move too fast, she'll know we're onto her. We need to wait until she thinks she's safe. Then we hit her with everything at once. How long? Until the cruise. Let her think she's gotten away with it. Let her board that ship believing she's about to disappear with your money and her boyfriend. And then, Martin pauses. Then we take it all back. Thomas feels something cold settle in his chest. You're sure this will work? I'm sure. Trust me, Tom. She's not as smart as she thinks she is, and we've got something she doesn't. What's that? Patience. Day 7. Chloe is in the kitchen making breakfast. She's singing along to something on her phone. She seems lighter lately, happier. Thomas watches her from the doorway. She looks young, radiant, like the woman he fell in love with 26 years ago in a Chicago coffee shop. She doesn't look like someone who's destroying him. Morning, she says brightly. Want pancakes? Sure. She flips a pancake, sets it on a plate. I've been thinking. After the cruise, maybe we should sell this place, get something smaller, closer to the water. Thomas pours coffee. Why? I don't know. Fresh start, I guess. We've been here for 15 years. Might be time for something new. Thomas nods. Doesn't trust himself to speak. Chloe brings the plate over, kisses the top of his head. You're quiet lately. Everything okay? Fine. You're not having second thoughts about the cruise, are you? No, I'm looking forward to it. She smiles. Good. Me too. Day 10. Rachel sends Thomas a text. Found something. Call me. Thomas steps outside his office building, calls her. What is it? I've been tracking Chloe's movements. Yesterday she met with Charles at a law office downtown. Thomas's grip tightens on the phone. A law office? Yeah. Firm that specializes in international asset protection. I couldn't get inside, but based on the timing and the firm's specialty, I'm guessing she's setting up offshore structures, making sure the money stays hidden. Thomas closes his eyes. She's covering her tracks. Trying to, but here's the thing, she's sloppy. She's using her real name on documents, paying with credit cards that are easily traceable. It's like she thinks you'll never find out. Or she thinks I'm too stupid to figure it out. Rachel is quiet for a moment. Maybe. Or maybe she's just desperate. Thomas doesn't respond. There's something else, Rachel says. I found flight reservations. 2 tickets. Athens to Lisbon, one way. Departing August 28th. That's the day after the cruise ends. Exactly. Thomas feels the ground shift beneath him. She's planning to leave me in Athens. Looks that way. Thomas stands on the sidewalk watching cars pass. Normal people living normal lives. Tom, you still there? Yeah, I'm here. We've got everything we need. Martin can file the paperwork now. We can freeze the account before she even gets on that plane. Thomas thinks about it. About Chloe's smile. About 3 more weeks of pretending. No, he says. Let her board the cruise. Let her think she's won, and then we take it all back. Rachel is quiet. Then, you're sure? I'm sure. Day 14. 2 weeks until the cruise. Thomas is in a meeting when his phone buzzes. A text from Chloe. Dinner tonight? Want to celebrate? Just got our final cruise confirmation. Thomas stares at the message. His chest tightens. He types back, Sounds great. See you at 7. That night, they go to their favorite restaurant. Italian place in Queen Anne. They've been coming here for years. Chloe orders wine. She's glowing. I can't believe it's almost here, she says. Barcelona, Athens, Santorini. It's going to be incredible. Thomas nods, sips his wine. You seem distracted, Chloe says. Are you worried about leaving work for a month? A little. Don't be. You've earned this. We've earned this. She reaches across the table, takes his hand. 25 years, Tommy. We made it. Thomas looks at their joined hands. Her wedding ring catches the candlelight. Yeah, he says quietly. We made it. Day 17. 1 week until departure. Martin calls. We're ready to file. As soon as you give the word, we freeze everything. The offshore account, the transfer records, all of it. And I've been in contact with federal investigators. They're ready to move on, Charles. Wait until after we leave, Thomas says. I want her to think she's safe, right up until the moment she tries to access the money. Tom, are you sure about this? Letting her board that cruise? Letting her think... I'm sure. Martin sighs. Okay, it's your call. But be careful. Don't give her any reason to suspect. I won't. Thomas hangs up. That night he helps Chloe pack. She's organized, methodical. Summer dresses, swimsuits, sunscreen. I'm bringing the blue dress for the formal dinners, she says, holding it up. What do you think? Beautiful. She smiles, folds it carefully into her suitcase. Thomas watches her, tries to reconcile this woman, his wife, his partner, with the person who's stealing from him. He can't. They're two different people. Or maybe they're the same person, and he just never saw it. Day 20. 3 days until departure. Thomas is at work when Rachel calls. Chloe just withdrew $10,000 in cash from a personal account you don't have access to. Thomas feels his stomach drop. Why? I don't know. Could be travel money. Could be something else. But I thought you should know. Keep watching her. I will. That night, Thomas finds the cash. It's hidden in Chloe's dresser, in an envelope marked Travel Fund. $10,000. More than enough for a one-way trip to anywhere. Thomas puts it back exactly as he found it. Day 22. Tomorrow, they leave for Barcelona. Thomas sits in his office, staring at his computer. On the screen is the final email from Martin. Everything is filed. Paperwork is sealed. Federal agents are briefed. The moment she tries to access the account, it's over. Thomas types a response. Good, let's finish this. He sends the email. Closes his laptop. Downstairs, Chloe is singing. She's been in a great mood all day. Thomas goes downstairs. She's in the kitchen cooking. Hey, babe, hungry? Starving. They eat dinner together. Chloe talks about the cruise, about all the places they'll see, about how excited she is. Thomas listens, nods, smiles when he's supposed to. He's gotten good at pretending. Day 23. Departure day. They leave for the airport at 6 a.m. The Uber driver loads their suitcases. Chloe is practically bouncing with excitement. This is it, she says. Our big adventure. Thomas nods. The flight to Barcelona is 9 hours. Chloe sleeps most of the way, her head on Thomas's shoulder. Thomas doesn't sleep. He stares out the window at the clouds, thinking about what's waiting at the end of this journey. Not for him, for her. Barcelona. The cruise ship is massive. 15 decks, 3 pools, restaurants, shops, theaters. It looks like a floating city. Their cabin is on the 10th deck, floor-to-ceiling windows, a king-size bed, a balcony overlooking the Mediterranean. Chloe steps onto the balcony and breathes deeply. This is perfect, she says. Absolutely perfect. Thomas stands in the doorway, watching her. She looks happy, genuinely happy. He wonders if she feels any guilt at all. Day 1 of the cruise. They tour Barcelona, walk through the Gothic quarter, eat tapas at a sidewalk cafe. Chloe takes photos constantly, posts them to Instagram. Living the dream. Das blessed Dashik retirement hash adventure. Thomas holds her hand, smiles for the camera. Inside, he feels nothing. Day 3. They dock in Rome. Chloe wants to see the Colosseum. They join a tour group, walk through ancient ruins, listen to a guide talk about emperors and gladiators. At one point, Chloe leans close and whispers, "Imagine all the history here, all the people who walked these same stones." Thomas nods. "Yeah, imagine." That night, over dinner, Chloe is animated, happy. She talks about the future, about all the places they'll go after this. Thomas cuts his steak, nods, says very little. Chloe doesn't seem to notice. Day 7. Santorini. White buildings clinging to cliffs, blue-domed churches. Sunset that looks painted. They rent a scooter, ride through narrow streets, stop at a lookout point. The Aegean stretches before them, impossibly blue. Chloe turns to him. "I love you, Tommy." Thomas looks at her. "I love you too." She kisses him. And for a moment, just a moment, Thomas almost believes it. Day 10. Thomas notices Chloe on her phone more, texting someone, smiling at the screen. She disappears for longer periods. 20 minutes, 30, always with an excuse. Bathroom, phone call, need some air. One afternoon, while Chloe is at the pool, Thomas goes back to their cabin. He opens her laptop. It's password protected. He tries their anniversary. Wrong. Her birthday. Wrong. Then, on impulse, he tries Charles 27. The laptop unlocks. Thomas opens her email. The most recent message is in her drafts folder. Unsent, addressed to him, subject, "I'm sorry." Thomas clicks it open. "Tommy, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. I know this will hurt, but I need to be honest. I haven't been happy for a long time. I met someone, his name is Charles. He makes me feel alive. The retirement money is mine now. I earned it as much as you did. Consider it compensation. I hope you find peace. Chloe." Thomas reads it 3 times. Then he closes the laptop. He goes out onto the balcony, stares at the ocean. His hands don't shake. His chest doesn't tighten. He just feels empty. Day 15. Chloe brings it up over breakfast. "Tommy, I've been thinking, what if I stayed in Greece for a few extra days? You could fly home and I'll meet you next week." Thomas sips his coffee. "Why?" "I don't know. I just feel like I need some time to myself, to process everything. This trip, retirement, all of it." Thomas sets down his cup. "If that's what you want." Chloe's shoulders relax. "Really? You don't mind?" "Take all the time you need." She smiles, reaches across the table, squeezes his hand. "Thank you for understanding." Thomas smiles back. Inside, he counts down the hours. Day 29. Final night of the cruise. There's a farewell dinner, champagne, fireworks over the water. Chloe wears a black dress. She looks stunning. They dance on the upper deck. The Athens skyline glows in the distance. "This has been the best month of my life," Chloe says. Thomas holds her close. "I'm glad." "I love you, Tommy." "I love you too." They dance until the fireworks end, and Thomas thinks, tomorrow, everything changes. Day 30. Athens. The ship docks at dawn. Thomas packs his suitcase. Chloe watches from the bed. "You sure you're okay with this?" she asks. "I'm sure." "I'll call you in a few days. Let you know when I'm coming home." Thomas nods, zips his suitcase. He walks over to the bed, kisses her forehead. "Take care of yourself, Chloe." She smiles. "You too." Thomas leaves the cabin, walks down the gangway, boards a shuttle to the airport. He doesn't look back, but Thomas doesn't get on a plane. Instead, he checks into a hotel near the port, opens his laptop, waits. At 10:15 a.m., his phone buzzes, a text from Martin. "It's done. She just tried to access the account. Frozen. Authorities have been notified. Charles is being questioned." Thomas sets down his phone. He orders room service, coffee and toast, and he waits. Chloe arrives at the bank at 10:43 a.m. She's confident, smiling. She walks to the counter. "I need to access account number 847293. The teller types, pauses, frowns. "One moment, please." A manager appears. Middle-aged. Serious. Ms. Carter? Yes? I'm afraid your account has been frozen. By court order. You'll need to contact... Chloe doesn't hear the rest. Her vision tunnels. Her hands go cold. She stumbles outside, tries to log into the account on her phone. Access denied. She tries again. Access denied. She calls Charles. No answer. She calls again, straight to voicemail. Panic rises in her throat. She opens her email. At the top is a message from Martin Collier, scammer. She clicks it. Dear Ms. Carter, you are hereby notified that your husband, Thomas Hendricks, has filed a civil complaint alleging financial fraud, spousal abuse, and conspiracy. The complaint seeks full restitution of $1,512,000, damages, and legal fees. A hearing is scheduled for September 14th. Martin Collier, attorney at law. Chloe reads it twice. Then she collapses onto a bench outside the bank. Her phone buzzes. A text from Thomas. I know everything. Chloe sits on that bench for 2 hours. People walk past. Tourists, families. No one notices the woman falling apart. She tries calling Thomas 16 times. He doesn't answer. She tries texting. Tommy, please, we need to talk. I can explain. Please don't do this. No response. Finally, she calls Martin's office. His secretary answers. Mr. Collier is unavailable. Would you like to leave a message? Tell him I need to speak with him about the complaint, please. I'll pass along the message. The line goes dead. Chloe puts her head in her hands, and for the first time in 6 months, she understands what she's done. Thomas flies back to Seattle the next day. The house feels different, lighter, empty in a good way. He spends the first week cleaning, throwing out old things, repainting walls, making the space his again. Martin calls with updates. Chloe hired a lawyer. She's claiming the transfer was a joint investment, that Thomas knew about it, but the evidence is overwhelming. Login records, text messages, flight reservations, the draft email. She doesn't have a case. 3 weeks later, the hearing. Chloe doesn't show. Her lawyer makes weak arguments. The judge isn't interested. The evidence is clear. Ms. Carter engaged in financial fraud and spousal abuse. The court awards Mr. Hendricks full restitution, sole ownership of the marital home, and $200,000 in damages. The gavel falls. Thomas walks out of the courthouse into Seattle drizzle. Martin claps his shoulder. You did it. Thomas nods, but he doesn't feel victorious. He just feels tired. Before we continue, if you're hooked on this story, hit that subscribe button and drop your city in the comments below. Let's build this community together. Now, back to the story. 6 months later, Thomas is sitting in a coffee shop when a woman approaches his table. Thomas Hendricks? He looks up. She's 56, maybe. Warm eyes, confident. Yes? I'm Elena Reyes. I saw you speak at the financial literacy seminar last week. Your story, it really resonated. Thomas nods. Thank you. I was wondering, would you be open to speaking at a marine biology conference? I'm organizing it. We're focusing on second careers, reinvention. I think people would benefit from hearing your perspective. Thomas considers it. Sure, I'd be happy to. Elena smiles. Great. Can I buy you a coffee? We can discuss details. I already have one, but... Thomas gestures to the empty chair. You're welcome to join me. She sits. They talk for an hour. About work. About change. About starting over when you thought your life was finished. When Elena leaves, she hands Thomas her card. I'm really glad I approached you, she says. Thomas looks at the card, then at her. Me too. 1 year later, Thomas stands in front of 200 people at a community college. He's teaching a financial literacy course, helping people protect themselves, recognize fraud, build secure futures. At the end of class, a young woman approaches. Mr. Hendricks, I just wanted to say thank you. My ex tried to pull something similar to what happened to you, but because of what you taught us, I caught it in time. Thomas smiles. I'm glad I could help. After she leaves, Thomas packs his materials, checks his phone, a text from Elena. Dinner tonight? My place. I'm making paella. Thomas replies, Perfect. See you at 7. He drives home through Seattle twilight, feeling something he hasn't felt in years. Peace. 2 years later. Thomas and Elena are married at a small ceremony overlooking Puget Sound. Just close friends and family. They honeymoon in the San Juan Islands. Sail, explore, laugh. Thomas realizes something on that trip. He's happy, not the performance of happiness he'd lived with Chloe. The real thing. 3 years later. Thomas launches Second Chapter, a nonprofit helping people recover from financial abuse. Within 6 months, they've helped 500 people. Within a year, they've expanded to 3 states. Thomas is busier than ever, but it's purposeful, meaningful. One afternoon, a man approaches him after a seminar. Mr. Hendricks, I just wanted to thank you. My wife tried to drain our accounts last year, but because of what you taught me, I protected everything. You saved my life. Thomas shakes his hand. You saved your own life. I just showed you how. The man leaves, and Thomas stands there for a moment. He thinks about Chloe, about what she took from him, and about what he built from the wreckage. And he realizes something profound. She didn't destroy him. She freed him. 4 years later, Thomas receives an email. The sender, Chloe Carter. He stares at the name for a long time. Then he opens it. Tommy, I know I have no right to reach out, but I wanted you to know that I've been in therapy for 3 years. I'm working at a nonprofit now, helping people recover from financial crises. The irony isn't lost on me. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know that I'm sorry, and that I think about what I did every single day. I hope you're happy. Chloe. Thomas reads it twice. Then he closes the email without responding. Some apologies don't require acknowledgement. Some wounds heal better in silence. 5 years later. Thomas stands at a podium in front of 800 people, a financial abuse prevention conference, the largest attendance they've ever had. The moderator introduces him. Thomas Hendricks turned his greatest betrayal into a movement that's helped over 3,000 people rebuild their lives. Please welcome him to the stage. Applause fills the room. Thomas steps up to the microphone, looks out at the sea of faces. 5 years ago, he begins, I discovered that my wife had stolen $1.5 million from our retirement account. She'd been planning to disappear with her lover and leave me with nothing. The room is silent, attentive. When I found out, I felt like my world had ended. Like everything I'd worked for, everything I'd believed in, was a lie. He pauses, looks down at his notes. But he doesn't need them. I was 59 years old. I thought my life was over. I thought the best years were behind me and all that was left was anger and regret. Thomas looks back up at the audience. I was wrong. A few people nod. Because what I learned is this. Betrayal doesn't get to write your story. You do. And the moment you realize that, the moment you understand that your pain can become your purpose, everything changes. He tells them about the investigation, about the trust that saved him, about the legal battle and the frozen account. But mostly, he tells them about what came after, about Second Chapter, about the people they've helped, about choosing to build instead of destroy. The best revenge isn't bitterness, Thomas says. It's building something so beautiful from the wreckage that the person who hurt you becomes irrelevant to your story. When he finishes, the room erupts in applause. People stand, some are crying. Thomas steps off the stage. Elena is waiting in the wings. She hugs him tight. You were incredible, she whispers. Thomas holds her. Thank you. For what? For being part of the after. 7 years later. Thomas is 73 years old. He's speaking less now, teaching more. He and Elena split their time between Seattle and the San Juan Islands, where they bought a small cabin on the water. Second chapter. Has grown beyond anything Thomas imagined. 7 states. Over 8,000 people helped. A staff of 40. Thomas sits on the board now, lets younger people run the operations. His role is advisory, strategic. He's good with that. One morning, he's having coffee on the cabin porch when Elena joins him. Mail came, she says, handing him an envelope. Thomas glances at it. No return address. Postmarked from Chicago. He opens it. Inside is a single photograph. It's from his wedding day, 25 years ago. Him and Chloe, young and smiling, cutting the cake. On the back, in Chloe's handwriting, I'm sorry for who I became. Thank you for showing me who I could have been. Thomas stares at the photo for a long time. Then he walks to the edge of the porch and looks out at the water. The morning sun glitters on the waves. A ferry crosses the sound in the distance. Elena comes up beside him. Everything okay? Thomas hands her the photo. She looks at it, reads the back, glances at Thomas. How do you feel? Thomas thinks about it, really thinks about it. I feel nothing, he says. Not anger, not sadness, just nothing. Elena nods. That's called peace. Thomas smiles. Yeah, I think it is. He takes the photo from Elena, walks back inside, opens the wood stove and tosses the photo into the flames. It curls, blackens, disappears. Thomas closes the stove door, and that finally is the end of it. 10 years later. Thomas Hendricks is 79 years old. He's retired now. Fully. Second chapter. Runs without him, though he still serves on the honorary board. He and Elena spend their days sailing, reading, hosting friends at the cabin. They've traveled to 32 countries. They've seen the northern lights in Iceland, the temples of Kyoto, the markets of Marrakech. Thomas's hair is white now. His hands shake slightly. But his mind is sharp, and his heart is full. One evening, they're sitting on the porch watching the sunset when Elena says, Do you ever think about her? She doesn't have to specify who. Thomas considers the question. Sometimes, but not the way I used to. What changed? I stopped seeing her as the villain of my story. Now she's just a chapter, a difficult one, but not the whole book. Elena takes his hand. What's the rest of the book about? Thomas looks at her. At the woman who walked into his life when he thought it was over. Who showed him that endings can be beginnings. It's about this, he says. Right here, right now. You and me and this moment. Elena leans her head on his shoulder. They sit in silence, watching the sun sink below the horizon. And Thomas Hendricks, for the first time in his entire life, feels completely, utterly at peace. Because that's the truth about betrayal. It doesn't destroy you, not unless you let it. Thomas could have spent the rest of his life consumed by what Chloe took from him. He could have become bitter, angry, small. Instead, he chose to become something else. He chose to become free. The epilogue comes 15 years later. Thomas is 84 years old now. Elena is 81. They're sitting in the cabin when a courier arrives with a certified letter. Elena signs for it, brings it to Thomas. It's from a law firm in Chicago, she says. Thomas opens it. Inside is a notification. Chloe Carter has passed away. Pancreatic cancer. She was 70. There's a clause in her will, a bequest. To Thomas Hendricks. A letter and a cashier's check for $50,000. Thomas unfolds the letter. Chloe's handwriting, shaky now, aged. Tommy. If you're reading this, I'm gone. I don't know if that brings you relief or indifference or something else entirely. I spent the last 15 years trying to become someone I could be proud of. I worked at nonprofits. I helped people. I tried to give back what I took from the world. I don't know if it was enough. Probably not. The money in this envelope is everything I had left. It's not much, but I want it to go to your organization, to Second Chapter, to help people the way I once hurt you. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know that you changed my life, Tommy. Not when we were married, but after. When you chose to build instead of destroy, you showed me what real strength looks like. I spent the rest of my life trying to learn that lesson. Thank you. Chloe. Thomas reads the letter 3 times. Then he folds it carefully, sets it aside. He looks at the check. $50,000. He hands it to Elena. Deposit this into Second Chapter's account. Use it for the scholarship fund. Elena takes it, looks at Thomas. You okay? Thomas nods. Yeah, I'm okay. And he is. Because Chloe was right about one thing. Thomas had changed her life, not through revenge, not through punishment, but by showing her that the best response to betrayal isn't destruction. It's creation. It's taking the broken pieces and building something beautiful. It's choosing every single day to be better than the worst thing that ever happened to you. Thomas Hendricks dies peacefully 3 years later at the age of 87. Elena is beside him. So are friends from Second Chapter. People whose lives he touched. People he saved. In his final moments, Thomas doesn't think about Chloe. He doesn't think about the money she stole or the years she wasted. He thinks about the cabin, about Elena's hand in his, about the sunset over Puget Sound, about the life he built from nothing, about the thousands of people he helped, about the choice he made 15 years ago to turn pain into purpose. And as his eyes close for the last time, Thomas Hendricks smiles, because he knows something most people never learn, that the best revenge isn't what you take from the person who hurt you. It's what you build in spite of them. Second Chapter continues for decades after Thomas's death. They helped tens of thousands of people, expand to all 50 states, become the gold standard for financial abuse recovery. And every year, on the anniversary of Thomas's death, they award the Hendricks Scholarship to someone rebuilding their life after betrayal. The plaque reads, "In memory of Thomas Hendricks, who proved that the best response to betrayal is not bitterness, but building, not revenge, but renewal, not destruction, but hope." And somewhere, in a cemetery in Chicago, there's a simple headstone. Chloe Carter Hendricks, 1970 to 2055. She learned too late that freedom isn't stolen, it's earned. So here's the lesson. Here's what Thomas Hendricks learned. What Chloe Carter learned too late. What all of us need to understand. Betrayal will come. Maybe from a spouse. Maybe from a friend. Maybe from someone you trusted with everything. And when it comes, you'll have a choice. You can let it define you, consume you, turn you into someone bitter and small. Or you can do what Thomas did. You can protect yourself, document the truth, take back what's yours. And then, and this is the important part, you let go. Not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. You build something new, something better, something that proves the person who hurt you was wrong about you. You take the pain and turn it into purpose. You take the betrayal and turn it into wisdom. You take the ending and turn it into a beginning. Because that's what Thomas Hendricks did. He lost $1.5 million. He lost 25 years of marriage. He lost the woman he thought would be with him forever, but he gained something infinitely more valuable. He gained himself. He gained purpose. He gained peace. And in the end, that's the only victory that matters. Not because Chloe lost everything, but because Thomas built everything. From nothing. From pain. From the ashes of a life he thought was over. He built a legacy that outlived them both. And that is the best revenge of all. So if you're watching this, if you've been betrayed, if you've had your trust shattered and your future stolen, remember Thomas Hendricks. Remember that your story doesn't end with what was done to you. It begins with what you choose to do next. Choose wisely, choose bravely, choose yourself, always. And if this story resonated with you, if it gave you hope or clarity, or just a reminder that you're stronger than you think, hit that subscribe button, drop your city in the comments, tell me your story. Because we're all just trying to find our way back to ourselves. And sometimes, the best way to do that is by helping each other. Thank you for listening. And remember, your past doesn't define you. Your pain doesn't define you. Only your choices define you. So choose well, choose to build, choose to become the person who proves that betrayal couldn't break you. Because it can't, unless you let it, and you won't. Will you?